welcome to the Jonathan Ross Show. Let's start, as we always do, by taking a look in my green room and seeing who's on the show for you tonight. First up, we have 3 guests for the price of 1. At least that's what we agreed with their agent. Each of them is a star in their own right, so we're thrilled to have them here together. It's the hosts of The Last Leg, Adam Hills, Alex Booker and Josh Widdicombe. 3 fine figures of young men right there. Now, my next guest was one of our greatest ever cricketers, but he's probably best remembered these days as a terrible boxer. It's the Star League of their own, Freddie Flintoff. There he is. You were a terrible boxer, Freddie, weren't you? Terrible. He's fabulous. Now, I've always enjoyed spending time with my next guest. She's one of the nation's favourite stand-up comedians and TV presenters. And get this is incredible. She's just completed a 135-mile walk for Sport Relief. It's the fabulous Jo Brand, ladies and gentlemen. My next guest is a superstar singing sensation. He's sold over 55 million singles worldwide. He's had 4 #1 singles here in the UK. It is Mr. Jason Derulo. Hey, Jason, looking good.
Oh, thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
And Jason will be out here. He'll be chatting to me and he'll be performing his latest single, Get Ugly, later on in the show. So, this week, it was revealed that thousands of items are left behind on public transport every year, OK? Which is not necessarily a big surprise. It's understandable. We've all done it. But someone, somewhere, left behind this. OK. That's the actual one. Someone left behind a prosthetic leg. Now, you would think, if you were wearing that going on, you'd notice you didn't still have it attached when you left. Has this ever happened to anyone in the green room? This is a great night to ask this question, obviously.
Is it possible the doors just closed really quickly?
I lost my leg off the back of a pedalo in Tunisia once, and it's just, you know, you learn lessons in life. Well, if you kick your legs off the back of a pedalo when one of them can detach, it was just in the bottom of the ocean. I don't know where it is.
It just went off like that.
Yeah.
Freddie, I believe you've been legless in the back of a pedalo. Quite famously.
I lost my dignity on the pedal.
Let's get my first guest out, shall we, ladies and gentlemen? They're the stars of one of the funniest shows on TV, The Last Leg. It is, of course, Adam Hills, Alex Booker and Josh Widdicombe. Here they are. The Last Leg. Do we have any Last Leg fans in the audience here? Great show. Congratulations. It's back on Channel 4 next week, I think.
It is indeed. Yep.
OK.
Yep.
One of the things I think which is especially impressive is the way you tackle subjects which some might consider tricky, difficult, sensitive, even taboo, in a funny way. And was that always the kind of idea going forward that you wanted to do that?
It was never really the plan. The plan was just to talk about the Paralympics and make everyone enjoy it. And then we realised that people feel a bit awkward talking about disability. And I think after the first show, we got a tweet from someone saying, is it OK to quite fancy some of the Paralympians? Because I think they're quite fit. And we were kind of thinking, well, why wouldn't you?
And so when you are talking about those issues then, do you find now that it's more relaxed, it's easier because you've established that as the tone of the show? Is it much easier for you? And are there still areas that you think you would have to pull away from, or...?
Oh, definitely. Every week there's something in the news that we now think, OK, we know we can deal with something tense, but we're not quite sure how we're going to cover this topic.
Yeah.
But I think Oscar Pistorius was the lead-in for us.
Yeah.
We had a chat in the office of, OK, if someone had broken into your house, if you thought someone had broken in, would you put your foot on before you went and confronted them?
The thing is, I'd have just... I don't know how... I'd have sent my wife. She's got a better chance on both her legs than me without mine on.
Yeah.
So if there's someone in the house, you crack on, love.
So I'm going to
stay here. I'll protect the leg. I mean, when we started the Paralympics, I only had a 9-day contract with Channel 4 as a reporter. I was just happy
And the Paralympics was 10 days. That's how little time they had.
I was just happy to be on. I'd have talked about anything if they'd have wanted me to.
But if I may say this, you've been, let's face it, a surprise star of the show then, really, because, you know, you're a vital in part of it.
Yeah, I think I'm probably the best one.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So you took the guys, you just came back from, or a while back, you went to Australia, I know we just saw the show, you took the guys back to your homeland of Australia.
Yes.
For a short documentary series. Now, that was, I would have thought, a bold move to take 2 men who don't strike me as being the most robust, outdoorsy
Well, I mean,
types.
looking at the size of me on that picture, I was certainly robust. No, it was horrible. Sydney was all right. Sydney's a lovely, glorious place. The middle of it, right off.
What, Australia itself?
Just the middle of it is just flies, heat. Oh, it's, you know, oh, it was horrible, wasn't it?
Yep.
You know, toilets, something as simple
Yeah, you
as
shouldn't
going to the
be, you shouldn't be
toilet.
scared of your own toilet, Jonathan.
No.
You know, you just go to, you know, a service station here. What's the worst you're going to get? You're going to
bad
have
sandwich,
someone's
maybe,
number
yeah.
and he was here written on the toilet.
Yeah, yeah.
There, I mean, you're checking under the seat for spiders. I mean, they're not cobwebs. It's like cross-stitch. All in the corners. It's just... You couldn't
But
settle.
anyway, it's nice to broaden the mind with travel, isn't it?
Yeah. So was this the effect you were hoping that your country would have on your visitors?
It was how neither of them were killed.
Yeah.
By you?
Me. I've never seen... I mean, we got to Sydney Airport and went to the business lounge because then we were flying on to Darwin and Alex checked under the toilet seats in the airport for spiders.
You've got to be thorough.
Yeah. So these are spiders that can kill you, aren't they?
You can, yeah. You can get a...
Well, then you're saying, like, we shouldn't be checking on the toilets
It's
just
just,
because you're...
they've got a ridiculous... It's like everything's like, yeah, don't worry about that snake, it'll be all right. It's not all right. It's a snake, you know, and it's like we saw this crocodile. It's like, yeah, don't worry. I mean, if you know, it won't hurt you. Yes, it will. If it's not tied up, if I was just stood here, it would hurt me.
Honestly, you should have seen his hands before we went.
Well, you got very close to this crocodile.
I got carried away. I was in Australia. It was our first day. There were rangers pulling crocodiles out of traps in rivers. These two were standing 5 metres away going, I can't believe the flies. I'm like, there's a 2.5 metre crocodile here. Forget the flies. And then one of the rangers said, we need someone to sex it. We need to work out if it's a male or female. So it was my job to sex the crocodile.
And this is done how exactly?
By inserting a finger into its bottom.
Can I just be clear? By sex a crocodile, he means check the sex, not sex a crocodile.
Yeah, Alex misheard. He thought I was going to sext a crocodile. Send a sexy text message.
You're gorgeous. Those teeth. All right, let's have a look. This is a clip of the fellas when they were in Australia, the last leg down under. This has already gone out, but I'm sure you can find it on one of the many, many catch-up services. Here you go.
OK, you can leave the gate up. Right there. Keep pulling, pull.
We're doing it.
You can come down close and look now if you want to.
I mean, it's a lovely offer, Tom.
I don't see it in the wild context of nature.
Oh, I just have to sex it now.
Oh, my God.
Lick it.
That's the same one.
Oh, I used the pinky last time.
So you feel like it's
You went, whoa, before you went to you made a real meal of that.
Do you know the worst thing about that? Is you just sexted another crocodile.
Yeah.
So that finger was going back in the mouth.
You're like a crocodile sex pest.
He'd done 2 in a day. You're like keeping up a little tally, wouldn't you?
I used the pinky for the first one, because it was a smaller crocodile, and then I used that one for the second one. You know the worst bit? The worst bit for me was an hour later when we had lunch and I was eating a sandwich and realised, oh, I haven't washed my hands. And I said to one of the rangers, I haven't washed my hands. She went, don't worry, I do it all the time.
Wow.
It's a thing.
OK, well, let's go back to what you've achieved there, because... let's put a very positive spin on this. Because I think your work on TV, and certainly the way that you helped, obviously, I think everyone was excited by the Paralympics when it happened, and it got a large audience, I think, and a great degree of support than people expected. But do you think it's changed the way we perceive the Paralympics itself? Do you think that your work on TV has changed in some small way that people approach people with disability, the way they engage with the subject?
It's changed the way I think about my own disability, because I always had a fairly bland prosthetic. It was painted like the rest of my skin colour, and I always kept it hidden.
And when you first started doing comedy, you never even referred to it, did you?
No, I didn't. Yeah. No, it took me like 13 years of doing stand-up before I mentioned it on stage. But then since the Paralympics, I had it painted. I was quite happy to have it out in the open. And now, this is a new one that I got in the last couple of months.
I thought you had... It looks like a double shoe on from here. It looks like
it's one of those blades. They fitted a blade.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
But is that... So that's like a scabbard it's in, is that why?
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's...
The thing with me and you, I think it's got to a stage just like trying to get one better than the other. So he had a leg which was painted,
Yeah.
Then I got one that had hairs on, and I was like, you ain't going to beat that, it's got hair on it. And then the other day he comes in, he's like, oh, have you seen my new leg? It's a blade. And it's just like, ah.
Yeah.
It's just going to come to a stage where in a couple of years' time, one of us will just walk into the room and go, yeah, have you seen my new leg? Yeah, it's a real one. But the Paralympics were good, because, like, when I was younger, I didn't see any disabled people.
Well, there were none on
telly
TV at all, no,
and
yeah,
it
yeah.
was... So it is nice sometimes, I mean, after the old crocodile thing, I don't think we're going to get as many of these tweets, but it is nice when people say, you've made us feel better about our disability.
Yeah.
and you know yourself, the movie Kingsman featured a character with double blades,
Yeah.
which was an amazing... I mean...
But, you know, there was some... in the interest of full disclosure, my wife wrote the script for that, and I know that they were concerned at the time, and I know since they've been a bit worried, because there was a very good advert on Channel 4 showing a bunch of people with various disabilities, and they were saying, look, we're kind of always the villain in movies.
Oh, yeah, right.
So my wife was saying, well, maybe we shouldn't have done that. I'm interested in your opinion, whether or not, because there is that thing where, still perhaps, because there is a sort of otherness about people who are different in some way, maybe it's an easy thing to go to when people want to make someone seem a bit sinister. You know what I mean? Do you find that, or do you think the media's changed in relation to that?
I think it's quite nice just to see some prosthetics in the films. I just thought it was... At no point did I think, oh, no, not another villain.
Yeah.
I thought it was right. I remember in one of the X-Men films recently, Peter Dinklage from Game of Thrones was in it, and he's in a film which is all about mutants, and at no point in the whole of that X-Men film did they mention that he's a dwarf himself.
Yeah.
And I was really, like, quite surprised by it.
Yeah.
So he was in it as his own right, and it's never even mentioned, so it's good, I think.
Would you rather be referred to as mutants? Would that be a cooler kind of phrase?
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool, wouldn't it?
That's like, you know, he's missing a leg, but maybe flames come out of his arse. You'd think twice before leaving your car in a mutant parking space.
I dread to think how... You would. I've never done that, by the way.
I know there's a new Kingsman film coming out.
Yeah.
I know it's being written. I know your wife's involved.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I'm available. The blade's
Well,
here.
could you do action stuff? You used to be a fit guy, didn't you? I know that. You used to play a lot of tennis. I don't know if
You used to be a fit guy?
No, I mean, I don't know if you've kept up the fitness. Is what
I used to
mean,
do
'cause you're a
gymnastics, so I can still pull off a bit of a... I can still pull off a cartwheel / backflip type
You
thing.
used to do gymnastics?
Did you?
Yeah.
You kept that quiet, Olga Corbett.
You've never... Funny enough, that's never come up.
Reason being, actually, was because when I was born, after a few years, the doctor said to my parents, look, you get
Just
him...
roll him down a hill. It'll be fine.
They said get him involved in some kind of gymnastics because it'll help coordination and that kind of stuff. So I can still do a little bit of a...
Wow.
So I could do, you know, I could do a backflip and
So
take
if we
out
were to set something up and we were to ask you to demonstrate, you could do that?
Yeah.
Sure, do you think it's worth... Do we have the time to do that? Let's see if we can get something organised. We've got a mannequin set up over there, ready to go, and you are going to, I guess, are you going to... What's the word? You unsheath it? You unveil it?
OK, so there's the prosthetic, there's the blade.
Where's the blade? Let's see it.
Do you want me to
take
take
the
the
shoe
whole...
off?
I'll take the whole... OK.
Oh, this is going to be brilliant. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? You've already lost
so
a
there's
leg.
the blade underneath. That's fascinating. So...
Wait a minute, do you wear a sock on a fake leg? What's the point of that?
Also...
Absolutely no sweat. Absolutely.
I imagine as well, one of them wears out round the front a bit quicker than the other one, doesn't it?
No, I get 2 days wear out of them because I swap them at the end of it.
Come on. Going on holiday.
Can I just say, that is the lamest high five that's ever happened.
Technically, it was a 7.
So...
Unbelievable.
I can't
The Paralympic legacy ruined.
So, Adam, you're going to try and cartwheel over and attack that mannequin.
OK.
Would you like a drum roll? Would you like the audience to go, do it, do it? Something like that.
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
The cartwheel. None of us could do that.
You should have licked your finger beforehand to make it right.
Now Alex is going to go and sex the dummy for us. They're going to stick with us, ladies and gentlemen. We say thank you with me for their splendid company. Of course, it's Alex, it's Josh, it's Adam, it's the last leg. Thank you, guys. Still to come, we'll be joined by Freddie Fintos, Joe Grant and Jason Derulo. Don't go away. guest. He's an England cricketing legend who's become one of the nation's favourite TV personalities. Of course, it's Freddie Flintoff. Here he is. Freddie looking good. Great to have you here. Come on out. You know the boys, I know that. Freddie, it's great to have you here. Thank you for joining us on the show.
No, thanks.
You've met the guys. Well, you've been on their show, haven't you?
I was on the first ever show. I came on. I didn't know what I could laugh at. I didn't know what I could do. And they got a blind judo man on.
Yeah.
And I'm not convinced he was blind. at the end, I was meant to throw him.
Yeah.
And he ended up throwing me. He saw me coming.
So had you faked that? Was he a genuine
No, he was
blind
real.
athlete? Or?
Yeah, he was real. I mean...
Well, I walked in the green room before the show.
Yeah.
And as soon as I walked in, he goes, "All right, Fred." I thought...
It was amazing, though, because that was the first show we had ever done, so no one knew what you could and couldn't joke about.
Yeah.
And we knew because we had the prosthetics, but your face...
I mean, we opened up with us playing rock, paper, scissors. Do you remember that? We had to play rock, paper,
It was
scissors.
a tad awkward, to be honest.
Yeah. All mine looked the same, didn't they? So I kept winning, and that was the joke. But I felt bad. It was
Still funny, 4 years on.
still good.
So, last time I saw you on the show, you were just about to head off, I think, to Australia. You went off to do I'm a Celebrity.
Yeah, I did. I was on this show, and I did some work out there, and they asked me to do I'm a Celebrity, and I said, no, I don't want to, I don't fancy it. And then they offered more money, and I said, yeah, we're getting there. And whilst I was on this show, my wife was in the green room with my agent, and I walked off, and she said, yeah, you're going on Friday to the jungle, we need a new kitchen.
Wow.
So I went in, and I'll be honest with you, easiest month of my life.
Really?
Month?
Yeah, I just sat there losing weight, getting paid.
Wow. But this is the Australian version. Of course, when we see it, it looks pretty arduous.
Oh, it's fine. I was on this 2-week contract, right? You're on a 2-week contract. You can't get voted out for the first 2 weeks, so I just slept. And then after that, you're on a daily rate, so I started trying. I was sat in there on a Monday thinking, if I'm here all weekend, we get a new patio. If I'm in next Wednesday, we'll go to Tenerife when I get back.
So you're well known in Australia. You're a personality in Australia.
Yeah, I've just come back. I've been out there since mid-November. I did a bit of commentary on the cricket, and then I've been presenting a nightly news show.
Wow.
Well, it's amazing. Like, they think I'm intelligent in Australia. It's a reflection of the country.
Wow.
Only in Australia and Grimsby am I intelligent.
In the kingdom of the blind, the one-eyed man is king.
Which was the original title for the last leg.
So you said you've been working on a news show and you've been doing interviews. You've been doing like a talk show type thing. Is that right?
Yeah, you do interviews for it as well. So I've interviewed a few people. We had Samuel L. Jackson on and Quentin Tarantino, wow. Kurt Russell. Then I did Mark Wahlberg. I had 4 minutes with him, but I only needed 2.5. I ran out of questions.
You only had 4 minutes anyway.
Yeah,
and
but he wasn't giving much.
But that's your job to get it out of him.
Yeah, I'm not that good.
OK, but you're very well known. I guess you're well known in Australia, you're well known over here, and that's nice, I guess, but at the same time it does mean people will approach you all the time. Does the attention get too much for you?
No, people are nice, really. Where I live's really quiet. I live in a little village. And no, it's fine. It's not like football, where football, if you support one team, they're quite tribal, aren't they?
So they don't like you if you're not on that team?
Yeah, but cricket was all about playing for England, so everyone's all right. What's
the weirdest place or the most inconvenient place someone's asked for an autograph or a selfie? When do you get bothered by that kind of thing?
I was in Ireland. I was filming with my chip van, and I was staying in this hotel. It was really late at night. It was about 1 o'clock in the morning. I was in bed. I had nothing on. And
so you were just in your own bed?
I was in my own bed.
You shut the door for the night?
Yeah.
OK.
And then I could hear someone trying to get in my room and a bit of giggling outside. So I thought, nah, it'll be all right, they won't get in. And then I heard the key card go. And then the door opened, and I've got nothing on, so I can't get up. And then this head popped round the side of the room, and this girl says, "Oh, could I have a photograph?" I said, "No," and I can't get out of bed, because if I get out of bed, I'm the wrong one, aren't I?
That's certainly quite a photograph you're giving her there.
Yeah, I said, "Come on, love, get out, please, just leave us alone." She went, and I went down the next morning to complain. I said to the hotel manager, I says, "Look, mate, someone got in my room last night. I just don't know who it was." He went, "Oh." said, what do you mean, oh? He said, that'll be the ghost. I said, mate, I don't know much about ghost etiquette, but I'm sure they don't need a key card or ask for selfies.
I think you're right.
It's like...
I think you're right. OK. You look great. You're looking better shape than when you were playing the sport.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay, how you done that? Why have you done
I
that?
started training.
Why would you start, after you stop being a professional sports person, why then start training?
Well, you can get away with it playing cricket. You don't move much. But, yeah, now, I've really got into the gym. I've stopped drinking. You know, I look at my diet a little bit more.
Oh, yeah.
And I train, yeah. I love going to the gym. And
So why was that, though? Is that because you've got kids and you're looking after yourself for them, or you just feel better about yourself? What is it?
I feel better about myself, to be honest. I think when I played cricket, it was a real drinking culture at the start. So you'd think nothing of having 10 pints a night.
Yeah.
And then it got more professional as it went on. And I retired, and I think I've had enough of it now.
Yeah.
I get up in the morning and taking kids to school.
So a serious question based on that. Do you ever look back on your cricket career and think, I wish I'd taken it more seriously?
No, not at all.
OK.
It's fucking brilliant. I loved it. I came from an estate in Preston and never really destined to play cricket, and all I ever wanted to do was play for Lancashire, play for England, and enjoy every minute of it, and I think I more or less did that.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't swap at all. No, it was brilliant.
Did you ever play? Were you ever drunk when you were actually playing?
I think the question is, was I ever sober? Yeah, there was a couple of times I shouldn't say this. I played a test match against South Africa.
Wow.
And we were getting beat, and then we came back after the day and we were a few wickets down, and I was next into bat the next morning. So I had one in the bar with Steve Armisen, my mate, and then we had 2 or 3, and it was stellar. It was like the strong stuff. And the captain was out. He went out for dinner. He came back, and me and Steve were still there at 1 in the morning. And he said, oh, you get to bed. He started to have a go at me. I says, look, mate, do us a favour, do it tomorrow. I'll get you 100 tomorrow. And I went out to bat. Oh, I was stinking. But the pressure was I ended up getting my second 100 in Test cricket.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, don't cut that. Yeah. Oh, there's so many times it didn't come off.
Wow. That's the exception that proves the rule. What about... they used to do challenges, didn't you? You cricketers used to challenge each other to competitions?
Yeah, well, you spend so much time in the dressing room, especially when it rains. You know, there's nothing to do. There's, like, daytime TV. But then we used to do daft things, like we used to have Tabasco challenges, where we get Tabasco and drink shots of Tabasco.
Wow. So, what, a whole shot glass full of Tabasco?
Yeah, you'd do 10, 15 of them.
Whoa!
And then there was a Red Bull challenge. My record was 12 cans.
Wow.
I did a big gym session after that.
I bet you did. But it's amazing, really, that you're still in good health after doing that.
Yeah. Well, the thing about the dressing room is that's one of the things you miss when you leave playing sport, is the playing was brilliant, but it's a place where adults can act like kids for 8 hours a day. You go in there and it's your place, and when you leave it, you join the real world again.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things it's hard to come to terms with once it all finishes.
Well, how are you with your kids then? Because you can still be, I'm sure you can still be playful with them at home. You have 3 children, is that right?
Yeah, my daughter's 11, my boys are 9 and 7.
Do you encourage them with fitness? You keep them active in that way?
I take the kids to the gym. The kids come with me sometimes, but it's fraught with danger. Like, my youngest, Rocky, he's lively. And we was in the dressing room the other week, and we was there. And do you know how men walk around dressed? I don't know if women do it, but men walk around with nothing on, with everything hanging out, don't they? And I'm watching my lad, and there's this bloke, and he's going into his locker, and he's got no pants on, he's got his arse showing, and I can see my son's thinking something, and he just walloped him on the arse. He's just left his little handprint on his teeth. And this fella turns around with me. I thought, oh, it's kids, innit? Hey, kids. It was awkward.
You know, we've got Jo, and she's just going to come out in a minute. She's just finished an epic walk for Comic Relief, 135 miles. That's, that would take its toll of even someone who was, like, a professional athlete, I would have thought.
Yeah.
Jo, you're not a professional athlete.
I am a professional athlete now.
Now. And what was the worst thing about it for you? When you're unwinding in the evening, how do you kind of get your body back in shape? Is it just you just go to sleep, or what do you do to make sure you're ready for the next day?
Well, first of all, can I just point out my body hasn't really got a shape. How I got it back into some sort of shape was that as soon as I came in, I had to have a cold bath for 10 minutes. And then a physio who was like ex-SAS would just come in and hit me for half an hour.
So that would be a sports massage, I guess?
Yeah, I think they called it that.
Do you recommend that kind of thing, the sports massage?
No, I give up on massages. I had one in Pakistan on tour once. And I got sent down the side of the pool and he said, go and have a massage in the gym, the physio, because he was busy. And I went in and I got stripped off and I was on the bed. And this fella called at me, started rubbing me. Really nice, rubbed my shoulders. And he got to my head. And then when he got to my head, he was like this, knocking me head like that. But I thought that's just what they do here. And then he carried on and he started rubbing the inside of my legs. As he came up, he got to the top and I thought he's going to turn around any second. He just went like that, ding, and flipped me balls. I didn't know what to do.
Do you know what? There's a crocodile with a very similar anecdote.
But he flicked them what? Painful, hard, or was it playful? Like, let's go.
It was playful. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if to hit him or kiss him. I was like, and he started going again, and he did it again, and that time I left.
OK, we're going to take a break, ladies and gentlemen. But join me in saying thank you, Mr. Freddie Flintoff. Stick around, Freddie. Stick around with the fellas there. Coming out after the break, Joe Brand will be here, and Jason Derulo. See you in a couple of minutes. Welcome back. Let's get my next guest out. She's just walked 135 miles in a week for Sport Willie. Let's see if she can make it from the green room to our couch. It's the fabulous Joe Brand, ladies and gentlemen. So, congratulations, Joe. Congratulations on surviving that epic challenge. 135 miles in 7 days. That's quite something.
It is. You wouldn't be able to do it.
I don't think I could. I seriously don't think I could. Your body must have been really hurting some of that time, wasn't it?
Well, it hurt after about an hour. So I was thinking in 5 days' time I'm going to be in the right state, and I was.
So you walked from... Tell me this. You walked from where to where?
Well, it started off on the Humber Bridge, which is just up from Hull.
OK.
And walked to Liverpool.
So from Humber to Liverpool, we have a map. Let's have a look, just so you can see the distance of that here. So that's right across the width of the country there, stopping in Penistone on the way.
Of course. Penistone. Everyone knows him up there.
So did you do training, though? I mean, presumably you'd walked before, but did you do, like, more walking?
Not really. Not really. I've been to the fridge on a number of occasions in the last year. Yeah, so, no, I did have to do training.
And you had a trainer, so how was the trainer with you then?
Greg, he was great. And he was... Well, he obviously took one look at me and thought, oh, Christ, this is not going to be easy. But we started off fairly slowly. I was doing, like, 1 2-hour walks, and then by kind of 8 weeks training, I was doing 6 7-hour walks, 2 or 3 a week. And then a week before we went, we did a marathon. We walked a marathon.
And so when you were doing it, there must have been moments when you thought, OK, what have I let myself in for? When were the moments where you felt down or when you felt like this is too much? Were there any of those?
There was one moment when I stopped for a wee in the woods and pissed all over my clothes.
Deliberately, or...?
Oh, yeah, deliberately.
You took them off, you put them on the floor, you squatted over them. Well, if this doesn't get me out the wall, nothing will. That's why when they used to pretend to be mad to get out of Colditz.
Yeah, because obviously I'm that sort of angry diva. So, there were certain requirements, I think. One of them was that they wanted me to fall over, because, let's face it, there's not much jeopardy going on with walking, is there?
Well, you know, it's a challenge still, but I read in the papers you got blown over. That's what I read. Now, that was in the papers, that you got blown over by this, because there were strong winds up there.
Jonathan, a lorry got blown over, I did not.
No.
Yeah, I think someone was using a bit of poetic licence there.
See.
I tripped over my trousers, actually, because they give me these waterproof trousers, and they were too long.
But so you wouldn't rush back to doing that kind of thing for fun?
No, I do quite like walking, actually. Yeah. And I think another reason that I kind of wanted to do it was to be, like... Because all the other challenges have been done by, like, reasonably youngish, fittish people. And one thing that my trainer, Greg, said to me that really cheered me up is it's better to be fat and fit than thin and unfit. Yeah. So at least I'm halfway there. Yeah, and it just made me think, well, I hope other people have a stagger.
And the money you raised, how much did you raise for Sport Relief with this? I
thought you were going to tell me the new total.
Oh, so you haven't been told this?
No, I don't know.
OK. So people can still pledge to support Jo, because she's done it already, but it's an incredible achievement.
I did suffer.
Yeah.
So badly I couldn't get out the bath one night. And I thought, honestly, I know, you're looking at me going, you can't get out the fucking bath anyway. But my legs were so stiff, and I just had a massage, it was slippery all over, and I was going, hello, in a really pathetic voice at midnight, right, trying to get out the bloody bath.
So Jo raised, remarkably, Jo's BT Sport Relief Challenge did 135 miles in 7 days and raised an incredible £848,700.
Wow. Yeah, that's amazing.
That is amazing. That's incredible. Well, congratulations. What a lovely thing.
I'm shocked. I'm really pleased. That's brilliant.
So, Sport Relief is done. What else are you doing? Are you going back on tour?
Well, just let me say, Sport Relief isn't quite done because they still want people to sign up to do the Sport Relief Games.
Oh, so we're doing... Are they doing the 1 mile run again, or is this a different thing?
But you can do a longer one if you want. You'd like to, wouldn't you?
I did the 1 mile one before, and that almost finished me off.
Well, anyway, go online to the Sport Relief website, and you can do your own run and get sponsored, or you can just go and do something with a big crowd of people and have a laugh.
So you're going back to your comedy roots again soon, though, aren't you? You're going back and doing live work again, is that right?
Well, I've got a few more tour dates. They're not going terribly well, actually, but let's not dwell on those.
You're useless in selling this stuff. You're useless.
I know. I don't like selling myself.
What do you mean they'll go well?
Well, like, you know, I was in Radlett Tuesday night doing me kind of I hate men. No, I wasn't really, because I've stopped doing that.
You don't do that?
People don't like it. They just want me to slag off my husband, which I'm very happy to do. But no, it was just like a Tuesday night, and they were all a bit... anyway, sorry,
Let's do this again without you being so down on Radlett.
Have you been to Radlett?
No.
I must stop doing this, actually. Yeah. Because I got in trouble over Streatham a couple of years ago.
Let's just say I was in a town. Let's just use the term
I was in a town last night.
Was it Radlett?
Actually, I had a really brilliant gig, stormed it.
What about, we were talking earlier on about Freddie being recognised, and he told a very funny story about a ghost trying to get a selfie with him. Do you get a lot of that now as well? You've been around on TV for a long time. You must get... Do you like being recognised? Do you enjoy that kind of exchange in the street?
I don't mind it if I'm sort of ready for it. I think it's when you're not prepared. Like, I mean, I did get asked for my autograph when I was in labour, in a labour suite.
Now, hold on, you were actually giving birth?
Yeah.
Wow. Who asked for your autograph then?
It was a ghost. It was actually a doctor from another part of the hospital. They, like, came in with their autograph book.
Wow.
And I'm going, oh, like you do.
Yeah.
You know, how inappropriate.
Did you sign it?
No.
Jo, it's lovely to have you back, and once again, congratulations, because that's a huge achievement to do it in the first place, but to raise that much money for Sport Relief. Ladies and gentlemen, Jo Brand. So to come on the show, we'll be joined by the magnificent Jason Derulo. See you after the break. Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get my final guest out here. He's not only a fabulous singer, he's had 4 UK #1s, he's also a great dancer. And at the end of every show, he says that he performs 400 press-ups, which is what I tell people as well. Let's remind ourselves of some of his biggest hits. Here you go.
Talk dirty to me. Talk dirty to me. Talk dirty to me. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Just a little bit of... There's nothing I wouldn't do. I wouldn't do. Just to get up next to you.
Here he is, it's the fantastic Mr. Jason Derulo. This is a good look. You're looking on fleek, as they say. Here's Jason, guys. You guys shove along, you guys shove along. Jason, I love that look. You are looking... we call this is on fleek, ladies and gentlemen, I believe is the phrase.
I appreciate that.
You're looking good. Great to have you here. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure, man. Thank you for having me.
So you are currently touring here in the UK. Oh, no, that's not fair. No, that's not fair.
I tried to stop that. I tried to fight back.
Freddie, that was your fault, Flintoff.
Give me a room, man.
Well, let him back on the couch. Shame on you, Flintoff. Sorry, Jason, I apologise.
Welcome to England, mate.
OK. Well, that is some kind of a welcome. Are you enjoying being on tour here? Do you like being in the UK?
I love it in the UK, man. Honestly, when I'm in America, actually, they're like, "You're from the UK, right?" Like, I'm like, "Nah, I'm from Miami."
Yeah.
So everybody in America thinks I'm from the UK anyway.
But because I thought you were British until I heard you speaking. There was something I didn't know that you...
What do you mean? I'm from South London, bruv. I like it a lot.
Well,
my mummy, my daddies, everybody.
Let me return the compliment and speak to you in America. That's pretty good. OK, no, look, we just saw the videos there. Your dancing, of course, is spectacular. Everyone knows you for your moves. But I wasn't aware until recently that you'd had that serious accident. You broke a vertebrae back in 2012. And that's a serious weight to have, isn't it?
Oh, for sure. A C2 vertebrae.
That's pretty high in the neck, yeah.
It's called a hangman's break. So I was lucky, you know, to be walking and to be alive even. You know, it's a very serious injury.
I believe that 95% of people who have that don't come back to be able to walk again when they have a break that high in the vertebrae. How did it happen?
I was preparing for my world tour, and I was, you know, doing a lot of acrobatics, and I slipped during a back tuck, and I bailed. And then I landed on my head. You're never supposed to bail.
And so when that happened, at the moment, what was going through your mind?
I was more paranoid than anything in the moment. And when I actually fell, I was like, well, damn, this might be it.
Wow.
You know, because, like, I heard a crack. So it was like, now I was like, shit. I just asked if I could curse backstage, so I'm excited that I got to say that.
So presumably there was some degree of panic around you after that, I would have thought.
It was a private session, so there were not very many people around. But there was a paramedic on site, and he was like, you know, you probably like just tore, like, you know, a bunch of muscles in your neck. So I got up.
Oh, that's the worst thing to do.
Yeah, so I got up and I walked to the car. My mom was in the car waiting for me at the car. And I didn't want to panic her, so I was like, "Ma, you know, I think I tweaked my neck a little bit. You know, take me to the hospital." Meanwhile, we're riding to the hospital. Every single bump hurt like hell. So I'm like, but I didn't want to let her know that I was in that much pain. So I kind of, you know, was a G about it and didn't say anything. But yeah, and I got to the hospital and he was like, "You broke your neck?" I was like, "I broke my what?" Yeah. You know, it's not something that you ever think will happen to you. You know what I mean?
Presumably, have you toned down the dancing since then, a little bit?
I don't do that specific move anymore now.
That would be sensible.
Yeah.
So, Jason, your music is pretty sexy. You write, not explicit lyrics, but it's kind of what you're feeling, what you're looking forward to feeling. You mentioned your mum earlier.
I did.
Does she like your music? Does she listen to your tracks? Do you ever have to prepare her for a particular sequence?
Yeah, if a song is a little racy, I mean, Talk Dirty, for instance, when I was playing her Talk Dirty, you know, I was like, "Ma, just so you know, there's a couple of words in here that you might not like." And afterwards, she was like, "I don't think this song is gonna work, baby. I just don't think it's gonna work." She was like, you should be a little cleaner. Like, people like clean things. So I released it anyway. You know.
But that song, was that no song, as I understood, I was reading up on you, that was inspired somewhat by the fact that you weren't someone who would engage in conversation during the act of physical congress with another human being, until this was pointed out to you that sometimes that's acceptable.
Yeah, so...
In fact, desirable.
What he's talking about is basically, I didn't used to be a talker in bed. You know what I'm saying? So, like... I didn't know it was a thing until, like, this
Hang on,
girl...
the boys are leaning forward for... They want some of what you're getting, so give them the benefit of your
See, when
experience.
you've been with someone a long time, you just chat about very banal things. I said to my husband recently, I can't even remember the last time we had sex, and he went, "We're having it now." So that's always a nice surprise. But that's not for a few years yet for you.
I don't think Jason's having those kind of conversations.
No.
It was a little different, different. But yeah, I mean, I was a young man, you know what I'm saying, and I was silent during sex, you know what I'm saying. I thought that was normal until this one girl was like, "You're really quiet," and I was like, started laughing a little bit, you know, the nervous laugh. "What do you mean?" And she was like, "You're quiet. I mean, do you like it?" I'm like, "Yeah, I love this." And then I was like, that felt good.
Yeah.
Right? And then, you know, slowly I started saying more things, and then, I'm a talker now.
You're opening up.
I opened up. I let the cage bird fly.
What, do you commentate?
Huh?
You like commentating on what you're doing?
I'm approaching the box.
Now, sometimes you want to ask a question or two, you know what I'm saying?
The square root of 9.
You mean like, are you enjoying this? Is this a good location?
You know what questions are asked. You know what questions.
I'd never want to ask if they're enjoying it, because I don't want to hear the answer.
Yeah.
You like
Refusal
it,
often offends, yeah. Alex, when you were a single man, how would you impress the ladies?
Oh, I was a nightmare. I'm terrible. The thing is that I never used to know what to say after. So what do you say after it? Like, thanks? Sorry? And when I was at uni... It got to this stage where I didn't know. And I remember there was this girl back at uni, and I just finished, and I was still there. I was still in the stadium, so to speak. And all I could think, I just went, yeah, I've got some Sunny Delight in the fridge. And she was like, yeah, all right. And then I just hopped off, put my leg back on, and went and got it.
Wow.
If you're at your house, though, you can be courteous, like, you want a hot towel? Would you like a hot towel?
Yeah, it's not an Indian restaurant.
Jason's doing well. He probably has someone come in at the end with a little silver tray with
Yeah, you gotta, you know.
Well, no, I think that shows you as a very courteous young man. That's a very nice thing, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So you can perform for us. Now, before you do, we thought it might be nice to ask Jason whether he would mind showing us a few of the moves that you do so well in your videos.
Okay.
You do some where you just do sitting down moves, aren't they?
Yeah. All right, so it starts like this. So you're supposed to be a little drunk, so you're like leaning back a little bit, so you swagged out in your chair like this. You know
Imagine you've just finished a test match.
Okay, so we're all...
So you're gonna take your right foot and you're gonna slide it underneath your left heel, like so.
Ooh, like stir in a pot.
Yeah, I can. And slide it in.
I'm not saying I'm unfit. I've genuinely got a cramp.
What? Ain't that fun? You showed a dodgy leg there, pal.
That's the most embarrassing injury I've ever had.
Right.
Then we're gonna get up, turn to the left. Okay. Turn to the left.
Freddie. Turn to the right. Turn to the right.
Right. And then we're gonna take this right leg and then bring it in the front like so. Okay. This one might be a little more simple. Okay.
Yes, do a simple.
So this is called the Get Ugly dance.
Get ugly.
So you're gonna lean to the right side. Then you're gonna cross your arms. And then you're gonna dab.
Dab.
So dab is literally the #1 dance in America right now.
Is it dab? With
Dab,
D?
yeah.
Not dad, because you're good at dad dance.
Yeah. So yeah. So right.
Okay, let's call the music in from Get Ugly and we'll see whether we can do this.
Yeah.
Get ugly.
Wow, man, that was... Yes! You've done well. You can go home, relax now. Hang on.
That's impressive.
Wow, Jason, that was great. You sit down and just say thank you properly. That was... You look surprisingly together. I think we found a new boy and girl band.
It feels so cool.
Wow.
You guys didn't want to stop doing it. I mean, I was like, all right, cool. And then I was like...
Jason, it's been so much fun having this show. I'm so thrilled you're here. The track is great. He's going to perform it for you live. Ladies and gentlemen, say thank you with me now, if you will, please, to Mr. Jason Derulo. Great stuff, Jason. If you want to get over and get ready to perform, you're here. Jason Derulo. Thanks to all my guests tonight. Join me again next week when we have on the show the wonderful Stephen Fry, the hilarious Sacha Baron Cohen, singer-songwriter Shawn Mendes will be here, and I think the funniest woman in America, Amy Poehler. But now here performing Get Ugly, yes, it's Jason Derulo.
Oh my God. This girl straight, but this girl not. Tipsy off that piece of rock. Like, la, la, la. Ching-a-lang-lang, ching-a-lang-a-lang-lang. Jeans so tight, I can see loose change. Do your thing, thing, girl, do that thing. Like, la, la, la. To the pretty faced girls trying to press each other. And them undercover freaks who ain't none but trouble. Baby, I'ma tell you something only 'cause I love you. People all around the world, sexy man. Get ugly. Get ugly, baby. Get ugly. You're too sexy for me. You're too sexy for me, babe. Oh, no, no. I can't even lie. I'm about to be that guy. Someone else gonna have to drive me. No. Bang a rang, bang, bang a ring a rang, bang. Place in the trunk, vibrate that thing. Do your thing, thing, girl, do that thing like. Turn them pretty faced girls trying to press each other. And them undercover freaks who ain't none but trouble. Baby, I'ma tell you something only 'cause I love you. People all around the world, sexy mother. Get ugly. Get ugly, baby. Get ugly. You're too sexy for me. You're too sexy for me, baby. No, no, no. Hey, yo, look. This beat, give me that ugly face, man. Lose control. Shit. Let's get ugly. Dysfunctional. Everybody lose control. Let's get ugly, baby. Dysfunctional. Some pretty faced girls trying to press each other. And them undercover freaks who ain't none but trouble. Baby, I always tell you something.